So,
Should I sit?
you can sit, you can stand, whatever you're most comfortable doing.
I
I
don't
know
know.
if my old ass sits on these rocks, I ain't getting back up without help.
That's fair. All right. So what's going on?
I want to tell you a story, and it's kind of about a man, and it's kind of about a mob, but mostly it's about a monster. Do you remember the Chicken Man?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I got word that sack of fucking shit is back around.
Oh, yeah, delightful, great. Just what I wanted to add to this clusterfuck.
Yeah.
All right, great. So that should put you in the mind of what weight class we're swinging in with this story.
If I ever see that chicken fuck, I'm gonna kill him myself.
A couple of years ago, actually, I should probably start from the way back. A long, long time ago, before either you or I moved to this city, Jackie Snow arrested a man named Norman Bones. Probably one of the most prolific serial killers the city has ever seen. Matched only by Mr. Smiley. Norman was executed, and his body was thrown in the water near the lighthouse. And then, something, I don't know if it's wearing him like a skin suit or something, but something came out of that water. And it was mean, and it was cruel, and it liked to play games. A lot of people were hurt by this thing that came out of the water.
What was it, like a fucking shark?
Would have been easier if it was a shark. He claimed to be death. You never figured out if he was Norman Bones somehow who lived through everything, if what he said was true and he was the embodiment of the Horseman Death, or he was some agent of the Grim Reaper. Nobody fucking knows for sure. And then Norman would know information that he should have no way of knowing for a man who was dead for years.
At a gamer.
And people would come to him.
Sorry.
To speak to deceased loved ones, to try and get information. I'll never understand most people's goals or ambitions, or motivations. Norman would do you a favor, but then you would owe him. I'm sure you can imagine what kind of favor a serial killer possessed by the entity of death would request from somebody. Do you remember the Bundys?
Yeah, I remember Jeffrey Bundy, and he had a wife.
He had a wife and a couple of daughters and a nephew. You.
I don't think I was. I mean, they claimed I was family, but I don't think I was ever really family.
Have I ever lied to you before?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
No, I haven't. But we'll get there. I watched that man eat a 50 caliber sniper rifle bullet to the face and then stand back up and dragged Cleo Shaw kicking and screaming into that lighthouse. And then they blew it up on top of them. Do you remember?
Clear.
Do you remember walking down the road one morning here, confused, and I stopped and I saw you? I was on my bike. And then suddenly, Dark was there and Matt was there. And they seemed lost and sad. And you didn't really remember them, did you?
Yeah, I had like an accident or whatever, and I guess it was a claimed concussion. Something.
Not quite. Um,
I would say if you guys want
you
some
did
lore
probably
updates,
one of
check
the
my meta chat.
bravest things I have ever seen a person do in my life. Your fathers, I don't know the exact why, made Norman very angry. And they were given an ultimatum: kill someone, or your lives were forfeit. Obviously, your law abiding parents were never going to do that. At the time, I was angry with them because, as far as we were seeing, they were getting off lightly, which I know makes me a terrible person, as a to say. But it's just another thing on the list of terrible things that I've done. As it got closer and closer to the ultimatum, Richard got sicker and sicker as a warning. And when it looked like they weren't going to be able, they weren't going to do it, they weren't going to be able to make themselves do it, you sacrificed yourself. One day, without anyone
I
being
what?
wiser, you sacrificed yourself. One day, without anyone being the wiser, you walked into that lighthouse and then you didn't come out.
Which lighthouse?
The one right in front of us.
Why did I do it?
Protect your family.
Okay, so if I went in, what?
At first, we thought you just sacrificed your life. That was bad enough on its own. And then, what was a couple of days for us later, I found you on the side of the road, and you knew who I was. And I was so happy because I thought maybe this psycho freak had had a moment of mercy and he had cut you loose. And one of the first things I did was I called your fathers, and then I called Winston, who at the time was probably your best fucking friend. And they arrived together, and you remembered Winston, but you didn't remember Dark, and you didn't remember Rose, and you didn't remember Cody. You didn't remember Bundy. You didn't remember Lennon. You barely remembered Kiki. And I realized that it hadn't been mercy for why he'd let you go. It was cruelty. I think I still have the text messages somewhere. And I asked him what price you paid. And he said, everyone you ever considered family, you would no longer remember.
I said that, or he said that?
No, the psycho freak from the lighthouse said it.
Okay, so let's break it down. I sacrificed myself to protect my family. Would, I guess, entail as to why there was a lot of uproar. A lot of uproar. We'll just say for now. In relation to when you guys saw me.
We thought you were dead, so it was like a miracle to see you walking about. So yeah.
Okay.
Imagine my surprise, my horror, when I stopped through for a visit 2 weeks ago and received no less than 5 text messages warning me that Norman Bones was back. I'm not telling you this because I want you to help me end it all. Fuck no. I don't. I have children, Fluff. I don't want anything to do with this fucker. I agree with your father. I think the three of you need to stay far the fuck away from Norman Bones. The issue is, without this information, without this story, I don't, even if you don't believe me, even if you take after your father and you think I'm a raving lunatic, the story will give you enough caution to stay away. But I know you, Flout. I've known you for a very, very long time. And I know that if you get curious, or if somebody you care for gets drawn into this, you will go herring after them. I wish that everybody I loved in this city would take the experiences, the amount we suffered the last time we dealt with Norman Bones, and would stay far the fuck away from him. But I know they won't. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them have already gone back to their visiting the lighthouse shenanigans. I don't want one of them to be you.
Why doesn't Richard want me to know?
Because he loves you and your family has suffered enough. That I agree with. He wants to protect you, but he's coming from a place of love. He's not realizing that by trying to shield you from Norman, from what happened to you, you might end up going headlong into it because you don't know to be cautious. That's why he doesn't want me to tell you. Because your family has suffered enough, and he loves you.
You know, I have heard people talk about Norman a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, I don't know the guy. Or I guess apparently I do.
It can be both. But I think, as I stand here telling you this, I think some part of you deep down knows what I'm saying is the truth.
I'll be honest, I didn't really want to ever believe it because it sounds like a crock of shit.
Flop, you were literally chased around by a 7-foot tall sentient chicken man. This is where you draw the line?
You didn't let me finish.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I didn't want to believe it because it all felt it was all confusing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone told me, don't go to the lighthouse, don't go to the lighthouse, don't go to the lighthouse. Yet I remember everybody, you know, talking about going to the lighthouse. And it always confused me because no one ever gave me the full context. You know, once upon a time, Bundy tried giving me an explanation, but I was like, you're fucking kidding me. And didn't really buy into it, but you're not the first person to kind of open up about stuff like this. To this extent, I didn't realize, I guess, how much of the knowledge there was. So was someone told me I was in a horseback riding incident where I fell off a horse and hit my head. I had a concussion. So to be clear, none of that happened.
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question with a question of my own. Do you remember even having any marks when you woke up that day? You were in a tragic horseback riding accident and had a fall bad enough to give you a concussion to wipe out a very specific set of memories, but you didn't have a scratch on you. And yet, your family also appeared shocked to find you. Not shocked in the sense that you had woken up and were walking around from outside the hospital, rather shocked that you were alive. Because when Norman Bones
Oh, fuck. I got stuff going through my head right now.
when I got the text message to come pick up your dog Sock from the island, I thought you were dead. And I thought I'd lost probably one of the most important people in my life. And all that was left of you was a dog. And I had to go home. And I had to tell your parents that you were dead. And that they had lost 2 children.
What was my brother's name?
Cody Sharp.
Were we close?
Yeah, you were. You two had probably one of the most stereotypical, in the best way possible, brother relationships I've ever seen.
And to think that slimy fuck permit over a no balls.
Cody was
Sorry.
smart.
Anyway, sorry.
And just as they were getting back on their feet from that, we thought we lost you.
So, Norman knows me.
Yes, your whole family, come to that.
What does he look like?
An older man. He wears one of them flat caps and a long coat. Prefers dark clothing. Usually accompanied by a crow.
Who did he play in Peaky Blinders?
He's got crows. Mean little fuckers. You've seen Bolvar, right? Unnaturally large, gray feathers, purple eyes. Did that never strike you as strange why he looked like that?
He looked like the chicken breast you buy at like the Dollar Tree.
Okay.
They're like abnormally white.
That's my fire-breathing son, thank you very much.
It's okay to be a little thick, but you get what I'm saying. You ever go to the grocery store and you see those chicken breasts that are like strangely,
unnatural, aren't
like
they?
unnaturally too big, and you're like,
And then, like,
what the fuck were they fed?
You cook them, and then they have that weird woody texture, and they taste like water. It's gross.
Yeah, there's something going on with that shit. Yeah. Anyway.
Did you never think it was strange the couple of times you asked me where I got such a strange crow? My answer was, I stole him from the god of death.
I mean, let's be honest. Without the context, it's kind of a dumb thing to say, but with the context, it makes a lot of sense.
I did. I stole that bitch from the god of death. That's my son. Um,
Oh boy.
the crows, he uses them to gather information, or he did. I don't know what this version of him does with them, but there's one,
Well, that's good. That we're
Noxie,
Noxie.
very large, bigger than Bolvar even, with red eyes. I watched Noxie stop the heart of 3 separate people and light a building on fire.
Kind of hot.
Bolvar is, yeah, kind of hot. Bolvar is Noxie's son, and Noxie is Norman's, or was. Again, I'm trying to stay as far away from meeting the actual bastard again as possible.
So you brought me to overlook the fucking place where I walked into?
I was kind of hoping it would jog your memory so I wouldn't have to cry.
Huh.
Sorry, I don't want to get on the plane with my eyes all puffy because I cried having to retell this story.
Okay.
One of my top 3 most traumatic points in my life, and I literally had my fiance die in my arms.
I'm not trying to push. I'm just, you got to see it from my perspective. I want to have the emotional attachment that obviously you do, and what I would assume my entire family
No,
does.
I know.
It's very hard to.
I know. I don't blame you. I don't. It's again. I don't blame Richard for being mad at me because I'm gonna tell you because I told you this. He's gonna hate my guts. You know what would he? You know what he would hate even more?
Hmm.
If you got tangled up in this again and got hurt because you didn't know better. Because if you were in danger from Norman Bones, your entire family would come running to protect you. Counter to that, I can have one dude really mad at me for a while, and I can save you all the heartbreak.
Well, you realize I'm gonna be approaching somebody out of all this, right?
Well, yeah, I don't expect you not to. If the Bundys were in, talk to Kiki Pendragon. You could talk to Winston as well.
Walker?
Yes.
God fucking, I can't keep that guy. God damn it. Okay.
What's wrong with Winston?
Nothing wrong with Winston. I was dealing with something, and I don't even know what's going on with the case anyway. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
I mean, I know the poor bastard was blooded out, but that's as far as I know.
Of what?
I don't know. It wasn't my place to ask.
When?
A couple weeks ago? Like, just before my last visit, he was in the ICU for like a week. I think I ended up visiting like a day or 2 after he got out.
Interesting.
Wait, how do you not know this? I didn't even have to be told. The context clues were enough.
Yeah, there were fucking context clues. I didn't know he was affiliated with somebody. What the fuck?
I mean, everybody's affiliated with somebody.
Who's he affiliated with?
Well, that I don't know. I don't live here anymore, Flop. I don't know which gangs exist anymore. As far as I'm aware, the Vagos could be living in Polito.
Well, the Shadow Leader does.
What? Huh? But yeah, the last time I visited, Winston was always hanging out with. Who was he always hanging out with? Oh, I don't remember his name, but I kind of remember him. Was it BBMC?
He used to be part of.
I don't fucking know.
He used to be part of the BBMC.
Maybe it was them and they were just finishing the job from 5 years ago. All I know is we don't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That's club business.
I'm gonna circle back to that one. I'm gonna focus on the primary point here.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna talk to Richard. I don't believe I've been reached out to. I hope not.
Well, hey, this is the part where I shove you down the mountain, right?
I would hope not. It's a long fall.
No, God, no.
It is actually a pretty fucking long fall. Anyway, I appreciate you telling me this.
But hey, your dad's gonna be pissed, but
Yeah,
I hope I've given you enough information to stay far the fuck away from that bastard down there. Because that's what I want out of this flop. I want you to have the information to treat that with the caution it deserves. Your father means well. I don't hold any ill will. I'm not even mad that he's going to be pissed at me and hate my guts. He just wants to protect you.
Hmm. You know I'm gonna want to see this bastard, right?
Oh, come on. The whole point of the story was to stop you from wanting to see him.
But you know I'm gonna want to see the face of the person that apparently I sacrificed my life for.
Oh my god. Why does nobody in my life have... If I only had a brain is your guys' constant fucking theme song.
I'm not gonna go have a conversation with the guy.
Okay, well, how do you expect to see him then? You're just gonna sit up here and keep looking down at the
The
lighthouse?
motherfucker lives on a goddamn island. I can look at him from the goddamn road.
He is possibly the god of death. If you are looking at him, he's looking at you.
You have a photo of him at least?
No.
I just want to know what the guy looks like.
Flop.
What?
Why?
So I know who to avoid.
Just listen for the absolutely deepest... You know how Barrick sounds like?
Yeah, he sounds like fucking 30
Like
years
gravel,
of
right?
smoking. Yeah.
Yeah, now imagine deeper and raspier. You know, what's the gift? Narc me down as scared and horny? That's it.
Huh?
Like, Barrick's voice just makes me horny, but Norman, both. You hear that? Run the opposite direction.
Also, you're the whole point of the story was to avoid this. You're telling me that I'm gonna fuck the guy?
No, you're married, sir.
You're doing a horrible job trying to keep me away from this guy. What the fuck?
Well, I'm gonna be real. You're just you'd find an excuse. You know what? Fine, get in the car. Let's go down there. Fuck it. Why not?
I really don't.
Get in the car.
I don't want to be honest.
No, too late.
I don't want to talk to him. I just want to fucking.
That's fine. Yeah, you just want to see him? We'll go down to the end of the dock where we can just see him.
I think we can get down this way, right?
I
Probably
possibly
would recommend against
maybe.
it.
Yeah, let's not go that way.
Yeah, this whole mountainside's kind of got a big peak on it on this side, so I don't know. We'll see.
I think we can get this. This one should be fine. It's gonna be a little rough at the bottom, but. So yeah, avoid flat cap, trench coat, and deep voice, and avoid giant crow with piercing red eyes. Just don't go anywhere near it.
Right. Who lives here?
Nobody lives here as far as I'm aware. The Bundys used to live here. Doesn't look like much, does it?
Looks like a lighthouse.
I watched that lighthouse get exploded and then rebuilt less than a month later.
yeah. That's the lighthouse.
Yep. But yeah, Flop, I want you to talk to Dart.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. You said Norman Bones?
Yeah. He had a brain blast. Want to fill me in?
Never mind. I don't think there's anything to really say. I'm just gonna.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't know if we should be saying that. He's hired under staff, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I need you to be aware of this to spare everybody the suffering, Flop, including yourself.
I mean, I'm not gonna approach him.
God. Hopefully he's lost interest in your entire family and he's moved on to other playthings, and me telling you this was just enough forewarning that if you do run across him somehow, you can run the opposite direction.
Well, do me a favor, and hopefully, if all works out, you don't ever slip Viagra in my drink, and I won't want to swim over there and fuck him.
Flop, if someone were to put Viagra in your drink and your first thought isn't to go home to your husband, I have concerns.
Well, as you stated, I'm gonna want to have sex with this man.
No, stop for a second. I said that I was horny, but you should know me by now. You've known me for 10 years. I'm perpetually horny.
Have you met me?
You're horny in the way that, like, a porcupine is.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means you have displays of horniness, but you can't really land it because you're awkward.
Why don't you define my life a little bit more, Balto?
I'm horny in the way that an unfixed dog is. It's like, just because I'm horny doesn't mean that you're gonna be horny, Flop.
It's not what I'm saying, but like, you get what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, no, I do.
Hey, Greg.
Do they think I murdered you yet?
Well, it's not a cop. I just don't know who the fuck it is. I don't like the fact that they're all the way up here.
Where do you see them?
Over there.
Oh, it's a tow truck.
Yeah, why the fuck are they?
There's no way there's a tow job all the way.
There's not. There's two people in that thing, though. We're going to the campsite. Now I'm a nosy bitch. See that?
Listen, so long as you're being nosy in that direction, I'm fine by me.
Yeah. Okay, so are there any other people that are aware of who this
a lot
fuck stick is, so I know who to either avoid or
people who would be willing to talk to you is going to be Kiki, Winston, and maybe your father after he's done being angry and plotting my death.
Okay. Ah, fuck.
Coyotes, please.
Okay. Is there anyone else I should be aware of, or are those the ones that I should focus on?
I know he had a passing interest in Annie Jones, but she's trustworthy. She's more a victim than anything. She's gonna have her hands full of chicken fuck his back.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, that sad sack of fucking shit. I'm telling you.
Stay away from TJ Walker.
That's a name I haven't heard from in years.
He was unhinged at best, crazy at worst, and definitely a tool for Norman.
Oh, so they're... Okay, so we have nothing to worry about then. He's already having sex.
Are you calling TJ a bottom? Because you're probably right, but...
TJ a whore.
Oh my god, Flop. We don't... It's 2020X. We don't call people whores.
Listen,
We call them ladies or men or Zers of the night.
all I'm saying is that dick down day is every day with TJ if he's this guy's fucking whatever you want to call him.
I say tool in the manner that, like a lot of people I mentioned at the beginning of my story, TJ made a deal willingly and Norman used him to go after people.
What was his infatuation?
With who?
What was TJ's infatuation with Norman?
He's unhinged. Norman claimed to be / his death or the embodiment of death or whatever. And TJ was just crazy enough to want a piece of that.
Jesus. Actually, I'll get you back down to the airport. We'll take a drive.
I really flew in just to have this conversation.
Well, I appreciate it. It's gonna take me some time to process this and.
Yeah, hey, just do me one favor.
Uh-huh.
Remember that your fathers didn't hide it from you out of malice.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm also a dramatic bitch, and I'm probably gonna look at my father and be like, so? Why'd you hide it?
They love you, Phil. You might have been that stray kitten that they picked up on the side of the road. Your whole adoption thing, by the way, was a fucking Benny Hill sketch between Cody and you getting adopted. One of you, I can't remember which one it is. One of you got spite adopted by the other dad because the one dad picked up the other child.
So they didn't communicate?
No.
This is gonna put the Forte situation real bad. Oh fuck. Okay.
The Forte situation?
Don't,
okay, wait, no.
Don't worry about it.
No. I have just spent the last 45 minutes giving you tea. Give me a little something in return.
Okay, TLDR, there's this guy, known colleague. I said at one point I was gonna.
Wait, no, Ziggy introduced me to him.
Oh, Forte?
He introduced him as your adopted son. Yeah.
He a hoe.
So are you.
It's not just that he a hoe, but he thinks that money drives this family. And I told him that for.
Don't you literally have to pay adoption fees if you want to adopt somebody?
Not anymore.
Okay, but at the time of the offer, was that not the case?
Yeah, he's like, he's like, if it's money, I'll just give you the 10 grand. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, no, there's more to it.
Well, Flop, for a lot of people, money would be the hurdle, the hurdle for them.
Oh, I told him it wasn't.
I think I hope, Flop, that you're being active and communicating with him what you want from him if he wants to be adopted.
I was. And the problem is that I made a comment and then he went around and told everyone, oh, I'm getting adopted by Flop. And I said, never said that. And I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but Pixie's very concerned over the idea of the adoption. But
Ziggy also seems to be of the mind that you're adopting him.
Yeah, well, Ziggy's a fucking bozo-ass clown that knows that the street goes both ways and could wake up early to come talk to me, but chooses not to, and then wants to know why I don't communicate with him.
But yeah, your adoption, you and Cody were a bit of a clusterfuck. I can't remember who came first, but one of you was adopted by one dad, and the other one adopted you out of spite. And then you guys just ended up falling into this really happy family. It was really cute, actually.
I'll keep that in mind for, I'll keep that in mind when I talk to Richard. I'm assuming that's going to probably come up.
Yeah, hey, I know you don't remember him, but Cody's grave is in Sandy. You should ask Richard to take you up there. You might, spark a few
He
things.
could be awake right the fuck now.
You're a good kid, Flo.
I appreciate that.
You've always been exceptionally important to me. Probably one of my, hold on, let me count. My wife, my husband, my 4 kids. One of my top 6 important people to me. Talk to your father. Talk to Kiki. Talk to Winston.
Okay. I will.
Take care of yourself. Make sure you're on the plane on May 10th, okay?
I will. I won't be late.
All expenses paid weekend.
You got my word. I'll be there.
All right, love you, kiddo.
All right. Love you too, Balto. Good to see ya.